Stop believing your emotions are bad. I believe this is one of the main reasons why so many people have unhealthy relationships with their emotions. We tend to label our emotions and we think of anything besides happiness or joy or peace as being bad. We think of feeling anxious or sad or depressed or angry or frustrated as being bad. But they're really not, because they're normal as hell. I mean, think about this. Can you stop emotions from arising within your body? No, you can't. None of us have that kind of control over our emotions. We can't stop ourselves from feeling our emotions in that way. We can't stop them from arising within us, because they're kind of like a form of energy that we don't have control over. Just like we can't control our heartbeat, we can't control feeling our emotions in that regard. The only thing we can control is how we react to our emotions. We can choose not to act on them. That's how we tend to label people who are grounded. People who are grounded are just people who tend not to act on their emotions. That's why they come off so grounded, or like they don't even feel their emotions. It's not that they never feel their emotions or that they don't have any. They just are really good at not acting on them. And when you do that, it comes off to others like you don't even feel your emotions. But that's not the case. So this should be the goal of everyone out there, to learn to control how they react to their emotions. Because you can't stop yourself from feeling your emotions. You can't stop them from arising within you. I mean, good luck. Try that by all means. But it's not going to work. We can't control that. So don't make that your goal. But yeah, it's so interesting to me how we tend to label them as bad, and that makes us have unhealthy relationships with them, where we then try to avoid our emotions, suppress them, ignore them, distract ourselves from them. But those are all incredibly unhelpful, because when we do those things, it doesn't make those emotions go away. The only way emotions can be released is by being expressed, because they're like a form of energy. That energy needs to be expressed within your body so that it can finally dissipate. But if you don't allow it to be expressed by ignoring it or suppressing it or avoiding it, it doesn't go away. It just lingers underneath the surface for a while until a similar event triggers you and brings it right back up to the surface. And that's not good at all, because if that happens often enough, if you keep burying your emotions time over time, then at some point there will be an event that will trigger you enough that it brings all the emotions you buried up to the surface all at once, and you'll explode on someone. That's the situations where you have someone who's typically nice, and just one day they're having a bad day and they just blow up at a family member or their significant other, or they blow up at a coworker, and everybody's left going, what the hell, this person's normally nice, what's going on? It's because that person has an unhealthy relationship with their emotions and they've been avoiding them. So all it takes is one big enough event or one bad enough day, and all those emotions come right back to the surface and screw that person over. Don't let that happen to you. And the only way you can prevent that from happening is to develop a healthy relationship with your emotions, to just allow yourself to feel them, to sit in them without judging them, without labeling them as bad, so that way they can be released. Because remember, emotions are energy. Energy can't be created nor destroyed, so it has to basically be transmuted from one entity to another. I mean, at a basic level, that basically happens with electrons, or at a basic level, I guess at a microscopic level, atomic level, there we go. That happens with electrons. It's some energy transfer between our electrons. Well, your emotions are kind of like that. The energy from them can't be created nor destroyed, so it has to be transmuted into something else. It has to dissipate so that it can go into other things. And that won't happen if you don't allow yourself to feel them, if you don't allow that energy to be expressed. It'll just linger in your body underneath the surface, a bit muted, but it will come back eventually. So don't let that happen to you. Don't label your emotions as bad, because it makes it so much easier to have the courage, the mental strength to just sit in them, to just fully feel them. That's how they can be released. Because when you're just sitting in your emotions, when you're allowing yourself to feel them, you're allowing that energy to move through your body, to be expressed. So eventually, once it's all used up, it's gone. it's released. You won't be feeling that emotion anymore. And that's the beauty of it. I mean, it's so interesting how we're not taught this in school, because so many people don't know how to relate to their emotions because of this. Nobody is really taught to just sit in them and feel them, because that's kind of scary for some of our emotions. I mean, being incredibly honest here, I've felt at times when I was younger, I felt like killing myself because emotions were so strong. Some, feeling incredibly depressed, that sort of thing, like there's no hope in your future, like you're going to be forever alone. I felt that in like middle school, and even like a few times later. And I remember feeling like, this is so strong, I don't know how to deal with this, like I'd rather just end it all so I don't have to feel that way. But thankfully I didn't. Thankfully I did not act on those emotions. And that's the important thing. Remember, you can feel your emotions, but just don't act on them. And now I have the courage to even face those emotions, those incredibly strong ones that we would typically label as bad. But they're really not bad. They're just a normal part of life, and we all feel them at various points throughout our lives. I mean, now when I feel emotions that strong, rather than thinking about ending my existence, which would not be fun, because then I wouldn't be able to experience anything after that point, so that's not a good route. Instead, I tend to think, these emotions are so powerful and strong that they make me feel alive. Like I just can't really describe it, but they make me feel so much energy or something that it makes me feel alive. And now I kind of enjoy that feeling, even though it's not always fun, because those incredibly strong emotions, sometimes sitting in them can, oh man, it's not always fun, but it doesn't need to be. This isn't a process that's meant to be fun. It's not like eating ice cream or, I don't know, frolicking in a field with a loved one. It's not like any of that. But there's just something powerful there. And I believe more of us need to have this healthier relationship with our emotions, because we have to realize they're not bad. They're just normal. It's just a part of life that we all deal with. I mean, I haven't really heard of anyone not having emotions. I guess maybe that could be the case if someone's born with a mutation in their brain. But why would anybody want that? Because then you're not able to feel things. Like, our emotions create so much beauty for us, and yet we only focus on the good ones. But if we never experience the bad ones, then we wouldn't have that perspective to even enjoy the so-called good ones. But I think we should really just go away from labeling them at all. Just view your emotions as normal. It's a part of life, as that energy that you can't control. So the only way to deal with it is to allow it to be expressed within you, because then it'll dissipate. But if you keep trying to bury it, that doesn't do you any favors. I mean, I truly think this kind of stuff should be taught in high school, because I think one of the most tragic things about the average person, I see this pretty often, is we just tend to self-sabotage, and people shoot themselves in the foot with their relationships, and not even just their romantic relationships, but all their relationships with their close friends or family members. If people can't learn to control their emotions, meaning controlling their reaction to their emotions, choosing not to act on them, then a lot of people just sabotage their relationships at some point, because they'll inevitably feel not so great when they're around someone they care about. And if they can't control their emotions, then they'll basically take out their emotions on that person that they care about. And it's a tragic thing. I mean, I've heard of so many breakups where one person blew up at the other one, and then they regretted it after the fact, but you can't do anything to repair something if you fly off the deep end, and it ends the relationships. And that person just completely regrets doing that, because now they lost someone that they cared about. So don't let that happen to you. I mean, it's just, it's too common. I mean, these things really should be taught in school. I don't know why the hell they aren't, but this kind of stuff makes me want to open my own school. But even then, I'd only be able to help the people who choose to enroll their children in my school, and that wouldn't be very many people. So it's a shame, but oh well. at least I can make these videos and hopefully help some of you out there, because yeah, you just don't want to be one of those people who can't control their emotions, and you meet someone great, maybe even potentially you meet like the love of your life, and you ruin it with them because you can't control yourself. Just don't let that happen to you. Choose to have a great relationship to your own emotions so they don't end up destroying you further down the road. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you guys. Oh man, I could talk about this for a long time, but yeah, I'll end it here. That's pretty much everything I wanted to cover. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you like content like this, be sure to subscribe for more like it. Otherwise, like the video. That's the easiest way you can help support me and help this ridiculous algorithm. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. But otherwise, guys, remember, we're all in this journey together. The most important thing is that you just keep going, keep moving forward, and keep working on creating a healthy relationship to your own emotions so you don't let them destroy you further down the road. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Arrivederci!